You poured out pieces of your soul to those who didn't earn them. You handed loyalty like it was cheap, and they discarded it like trash. Yet here you stand, sifting through the wreckage, trying to pinpoint where it all went wrong. You didn't go wrong. They simply weren't built to handle something genuine. The hard truth is, most people aren't. They crumble when faced with someone who doesn't manipulate, who speaks truth, who stays through the storms. They preach about wanting honesty, but when you deliver that raw, unfiltered reality, they bolt. Your truth holds a mirror to their lies, their masks, their shallow hearts, and you're left standing in the dust, wondering what the hell just happened. That's the first trap people like you fall into, believing loyalty breeds loyalty. It doesn't. Your heart isn't a signed contract. Giving your all doesn't guarantee they'll cherish it like gold. Most only see value in what they can exploit, not what they can nurture. You were their fuel, their comfort, their spotlight. When they'd drained every drop of your energy, when they'd filled their cups with your light, they vanished. No warning, no goodbye, just silence. Now you sit, feeling like the failure. But hear this loud and clear. You didn't fail. You outgrew the cage they tried to lock you in. They never expected you to see through their patterns. They counted on your patience, your softness, your endless forgiveness, but now you're here, cracking open your chest, searching for your worth in the ashes they left behind. That's not weakness. It's rebirth. And rebirth always comes with pain, raw and unrelenting. You have to leave them behind. I know it's not easy. It cuts deep when the ones you'd bleed for don't even show up when you're wounded. Holding on to those who've already let you go is a slow suicide. Bury their memory in silence. Stop resurrecting their names in your thoughts. They made their choice, and their silence screams louder than words ever could. They didn't forget you. They just didn't care enough. That's the brutal reality you must face. Look around. The world doesn't pause for your heartbreak. It doesn't wait for your tears to dry. Time keeps moving, whether you heal or not. So you'd better start walking. Fix your crown with bloodied hands and weary eyes. Because no one's coming to save you. Not them, not the ones who watched you fall. And definitely not the ones who pushed you. Here's the twist, Bane. You don't need saving. You need to release. Burn the version of yourself they grew comfortable disrespecting. Let them choke on your absence. Let them learn the hard way that when you walk away, you don't come back the same. That's how you win. Not with noise, not with rage, but with transformation. Become so unrecognizable they can't even approach the new you. Make your silence thunderous. Make your success razor sharp. Make your glow blinding. That's the revenge they never see coming. Don't wait for their apology. Some aren't sorry, not because they didn't hurt you, but because they don't value you enough to care. That's a cold, harsh truth, but it sets you free. You don't owe them closure. You owe yourself peace. Peace begins when you stop explaining your worth to those who never deserved access to it. So leave them behind. They were a chapter, not your entire story. This journey you're embarking on, it's yours alone, forged in your pain, your silence, your discipline. It's no longer about proving anything to them. It's about showing yourself what you're made of when all you have left is your name and your fire. Burn brightly, Bane. Burn everything that held you back. Because now, the real story begins. The irony stings. They'll miss you the moment you stop needing them. That's how people work. They don't cherish what stays. They romanticize what leaves. They crave what they can't replace. When you pull the plug on your attention, your support, your presence, they'll feel that void like a storm they can't control. They'll scroll through old messages, searching for signs of you, but it'll be too late. You'll be gone, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You'll have built a version of yourself that doesn't flinch at their name, that doesn't ache for their absence, a version that doesn't bend to be enough for those unready for something real. Don't lie to yourself, Bane. You saw the signs. You excused their distance, forgave their cold replies, swallowed your pride when they pushed you to the edge and pretended not to notice. You gave chances like they were endless, but you were the only one showing up. You stayed up when they were down, carried their chaos while they ignored your silence. You gave too much to people who offered just enough to keep you hooked. That wasn't love. It was manipulation, dressed in soft words. It was convenience, wrapped in hollow promises. Now that you're awake, now that the fog has lifted, it's your duty to walk away, even if your heart begs you to stay. Pain doesn't always come from losing people. It comes from realizing they were never truly yours. You crafted an image of them in your mind, saw potential where there were only patterns, imagined loyalty, empathy, growth, when you were loving a mask, a shadow, something hollow. The day you stop trying to fix what's not broken, just toxic, is the day you breathe freely. You can't heal in the place you were hurt. You can't rebuild around those who profit from your brokenness. That's not strength. It's sabotage disguised as love. They say time heals everything. No, Bane. Time teaches. If you're not learning, you're just bleeding in circles. You don't need more time. You need discipline. Stop checking their pages. Stop watching their stories. Stop hoping they'll return with better energy. They won't. People don't change unless they lose something real. And even then, most just move on to someone easier to fool. So stop waiting for their growth. Focus on yours. Turn your pain into bricks. Build your empire in silence, so high they can't see the summit of what you've become. When they look back, all they'll see is the moment you stopped explaining and started evolving. Your peace is priceless. Treat it as such. You've given away your time, your energy, your love, like they were nothing, fearing they'd leave if you stopped. Let them leave, Bane. Anyone who stays only when you're bleeding isn't a partner. They're a parasite. You're no longer a host. You've bled enough, cried enough, begged enough. Now rebuild with purpose, with rage, with that cold fire in your chest. That's your power. Use it to stay disciplined, to stay focused, to rise so high they can't reach you, not with apologies, not with tears. This journey isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving you were always enough. They just couldn't see gold while chasing glitter. The moment you leave them behind, you step into something new, something sacred, something no one can claim but you. Notice how quiet it gets when you stop chasing? That's not loneliness, it's clarity. That's your energy returning home. When you stop running after those who treat you like an option, you see the truth clearly. You weren't hard to love. They were too selfish to do it right. You weren't too much. They were too little. All that time spent overthinking how you could have been better was wasted on people unbuilt to care. You gave consistency. They gave confusion. You offered loyalty. They offered silence. That trade was never fair, and you knew it deep down. But you held on, didn't you? Because that's who you are. You love deeply, even when it's killing you. That's what broke you. Not their actions, but how you kept betraying yourself to keep them. Now look at you, tired, heavy, cold, not from weakness, but from giving warmth to those with ice in their veins. Not everyone who smiles at you wants your rise. Some just want to dim your light when it shines too brightly. That's why you felt drained trying to bring them peace. Why your joy felt fleeting, like a stolen breath. They weren't meant to walk with you, just to pass through as lessons, warnings, reminders, not companions. The moment you stop forcing permanence on temporary people, your life shifts. People don't leave because you're broken. They leave when they can't use you anymore. That's the ugly truth no one admits. You were their healer, their listener, their giver. When your well ran dry, they vanished, blaming you for running empty. That's not love, it's exploitation. Now you're digging through your heart, seeking yourself in their ruins. But maybe that collapse was the blessing. Now you see who's real, who stood by you when the masks fell, and most importantly, who you are when there's no one left to lean on but yourself. Healing isn't sugar-coated, it's fire. It's nights where your chest caves in from crying, mornings where the world feels too heavy to carry. But you carry it anyway, Bane. Why? Because you're built for more than this pain. Your journey doesn't end here. It begins. In this silence, this solitude, this brutal, beautiful moment where you stop asking why they left and start asking why you stayed so long. Face that reflection with honesty, not excuses, and the chains break. The old you dies, and the fierce, focused, unshakable you is born. Walk away. Not with bitterness, but with clarity. Not with anger, but with awareness. Don't curse them. Thank them. Thank them for showing you what you don't deserve, for teaching you what fake love feels like. So, you'll recognize the real thing next time, while they're confused by your silence. Keep walking, keep building, keep rising. Let your distance be your message. Let your success be the response they never saw coming. Let your peace be the revenge they'll never understand. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your growth. You owe yourself a future that doesn't need permission from those who never valued your presence. Here's the dark twist, Bane. Those you sacrificed for will paint you as the villain once you stop giving. Say no once, and you're selfish. Go silent, and you've changed. They forget the nights you stayed up comforting them while breaking inside. The times you answered their calls through your own storms. Your love erased. Your pain ignored. All they recall is when you mirrored their detachment, their coldness. When the roles flipped, they couldn't face their own reflection. So they blamed you, because accountability is too heavy for most to lift. Some didn't love you. They loved your light, your energy. The moment you needed instead of gave, they vanished. They knew your worth but hoped you didn't. They fed you just enough hope to keep you close, but never enough consistency to feel secure. Now you're awake, and they're terrified, not of your anger, but of your absence. Your silence screams louder than words. Don't explain yourself. Not now, not ever. You've talked enough, forgiven enough, softened your voice to make them comfortable. Let them sit with the version of you that doesn't chase, doesn't flinch, doesn't answer. Let them face the consequences of losing someone they thought would always stay. That's not revenge. It's justice. You didn't change. You evolved. You didn't grow heartless. You grew a spine. While they search for someone else to carry their weight, you're building strength from the pain they left. That's what makes you dangerous now. Not your volume, but your resolve. You miss them, yes, but not who they became. You miss the illusion, the mask you loved. But they were never that person, just a chapter, a necessary scar. Now that it's healing, you see clearly. Not everyone belongs in your future. Some were only there to spark your transformation. Honor that, Bane. Leave the past behind and walk forward, not out of spite, but survival. You're harder, sharper, not broken, refined. The path ahead is yours, not easy, but yours. Every step without them is a step toward the life you were meant to live. A life where your peace doesn't hinge on their attention, where your value isn't up for debate, where you don't just survive, you dominate. Leave them behind, not because they're evil, but because they're no longer part of your mission. Your journey's just beginning. Don't look back. Don't explain. Just vanish and let your glow haunt them in silence. How many times did you pretend, Bane? Pretend you were fine while crumbling inside. Pretend their coldness didn't cut. Pretend their silence didn't roar in your ears. No one talks about the weight of carrying your breaking points like it's nothing. You wore a mask heavier than theirs to keep the peace, swallowed every scream, every "why am I not enough?" just to keep them from leaving. But they were already gone, weren't they? You were clinging to a ghost, pouring love into a void with no bottom. For what? Hoping they'd finally see you, finally treat you the way you treated them. They never did. They never planned to. The longer you stayed, the more you lost, trying to build them up. That stops now. Your pain has matured. It stopped begging for understanding and turned into silence. A heavy, sharp silence that doesn't chase, doesn't explain, doesn't plead. That's power. That's when the game shifts. You stop being the victim and become the threat. Nothing scares people more than the you that no longer needs their validation, no longer reacts, no longer tries. That's evolution. That's the start of your true journey. Let them talk. Let them lie. Let them rewrite the story. They need that to sleep at night because the truth is too loud, too real. They hurt someone who'd never hurt them, broke someone building them up. Now they're left with regret, masked by distractions, people, noise. But when the lights dim and the room stills, your name echoes, not because you want it to, but because truth resonates in empty spaces. You've left them with plenty of silence to sit in. This journey isn't about revenge, it's about resurrection. You're not here to prove anything to them anymore. You're reclaiming every piece of yourself you gave away. Your focus, your love, your patience, your power. It's not loud or dramatic, it's slow, calculated, cold. Healing isn't fireworks, it's war. A silent, disciplined war between who you were and who you're becoming. Every day you stay distant. Every day you build in private. Every day you resist explaining yourself to those who chose chaos. You win. Stop revisiting the wound. Stop replaying the betrayal. You've grieved enough. Now rise. Stop asking, why did they do this? Start asking, what will I do now? You still have time, strength, that flicker of fire. One spark, one breath, one moment of rage turned to focus, and you're no longer broken. You're the silent storm they never saw coming, the one they'll remember when all else fades. People don't forget those who loved them right and vanished without a trace, Bane. What haunts them isn't that you left, it's that you didn't beg, didn't scream, didn't drag their name through the mud. You just disappeared, quiet, cold, final. That silence tells a story louder than words. When you walk away without a plea, without a glance back, it shows you've seen the truth, counted every moment they overlooked you, disrespected you, half-loved you, and realized there's nothing left to salvage. They expect you to collapse when they leave, to crawl, to ask what you did wrong. But when you move on like they never existed, that breaks them. That keeps them awake because they realize they weren't the center of your world, just a guest in it. Maybe that's what they feared all along. Maybe that's why they tried to keep you small, doubting yourself, because when you stop questioning your worth, when you see what you are, you're untouchable, you're dangerous, not cruel, but awake. And when someone real wakes up, when someone who gave love, loyalty, time stops caring, it shakes the ground beneath those who took them for granted. Your absence is louder than your presence ever was. Not just silence, but a message, a mirror, a cold reflection of what they discarded thoughtlessly. You're not the same, Bane. The version that waited, explained, tried, it's gone, buried in the ashes they thought they destroyed. What rose is sharper, colder, smarter. You've learned about them and yourself. You've seen how deep your love runs, how much you'd give, how loyal you can be, even when it hurts. Now that you've turned that power inward, you're unstoppable. People like you don't break. You burn quietly, completely. In those flames, you don't just destroy what hurt you, you forge something new. A life, a path, a purpose that doesn't include them. Let them watch from the sidelines, telling themselves you were the problem. Let them need stories to sleep. You don't need to correct them. You're not here to soothe egos that cracked you open. You're here to rebuild, to become, to go so far that the person they left no longer exists. That's the masterpiece, a life built so silently, so strongly, that their memory becomes irrelevant. The pain they caused becomes fuel, not chains. One day, they'll realize they let go of someone irreplaceable. They'll try to mask it, post smiles, laugh louder, stay busy, but they'll feel it, that ache, that void, eating at them every quiet night. That's how real ones haunt. Bane, not with noise, but with absence. Your absence will echo in places they never expected. At 2 a.m. when the party fades, in the arms of someone who doesn't hold them right, in the small things, the food you loved, the song you shared, the joke no one else gets. That's the price of taking loyalty for granted, of gambling with someone who'd walk through fire for them while they handed the lighter to someone else. But you were never meant to stay small, to be a side character in their game. That's why the pain feels so heavy. Your heart was too big for their hands. Now that you've pulled yourself from that pit, you see this pain had purpose. It wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to wake you, to sharpen you, to remind you your worth isn't in how much you give to those who take. It's in how you rise, rebuild without applause, walk away without needing closure. Closure isn't theirs to give, it's yours to claim when you realize nothing they say or do changes what they chose. It still hurts, I know. Some nights, that hollow space in your chest will hit out of nowhere, asking, how could they do this after everything? The answer is brutal but simple, because they could. Some don't love like you do. Some don't see treasure when it's handed to them. They're too used to dirt. When someone values only what's easy, what's shiny, what doesn't demand growth, they'll always abandon the real thing, not because it wasn't enough, but because it made them feel small. Growth scares those content with laziness, so they run, leaving you with silence. But that silence is your rebirth. You don't owe them your story, your healing, your glow up. Keep it private, sacred. Let them wonder, scroll, try to unravel the mystery of your absence. Your silence forces them to face themselves, and most can't. They'll pretend you didn't matter, rewrite the narrative, play the victim. But deep down, they'll feel the weight, the guilt, the loss of someone they'll never touch again. Walk slowly, coldly, head high, soul ablaze. Don't look back, not because you're heartless, but because your heart finally beats for you. You gave your best, fought for it, stayed when you should have left. That's enough. Now, live. Not to prove them wrong, not to make them jealous, but because you deserve peace, clarity, to love yourself the way they never could. When that clicks, when you realize your journey is just beginning, you truly leave them behind. They'll come back one day, not out of love, not because they understand, but because they miss what you made them feel. You were their calm in chaos, their listener, their home. They'll feel it when the world gets too loud, when fake smiles drain them, when distractions reflect emptiness. They'll remember your voice, your presence, your patience, your love, how you faced their demons without flinching, stayed even when it broke you. Now that you're gone, your value will hit like a punch they didn't see coming. But don't reopen that door. They had the purest you, the realest, the most loyal, and they threw it away like it was replaceable. It wasn't. They'll learn that the hard way, meeting people who love only what's easy, who fold when it's hard, who want attention, not connection. When the emptiness creeps in, they'll think of you. But all they'll have is memory. You'll have freedom. This isn't just about them. It's about every time you doubted your worth, lowered your voice to keep them comfortable, swallowed your pain to protect theirs. That's done. This new path is built on truth. You've wasted too much light warming those who never planned to stay. Now, pour that light into yourself. You'll see what they never did. Strength, fire, purpose, not the fragile version they toyed with, but the warrior you were meant to be. Your silence isn't sadness, it's strategy. Your love has grown teeth, boundaries, edges, cold focus. Let them call you heartless, say you've changed. They mean you stopped letting them disrespect you, stopped answering to chaos, stopped being available to those who only valued you when it suited them. When they come back, let them knock on a door that's gone. Chase a version of you that died when you chose peace over pain. Don't say a word. Don't send a message. Don't leave a crack open. Let your silence be the story, your success the funeral, your absence the scar. Your journey's just begun, Bane. Not about who stays, but who you become without them. But let's dig deeper, Bane. Why does it hurt so much to walk away? Because you gave them a piece of your soul, not just your time. You invested in a future they never planned to share. You saw a version of them that didn't exist, a vision you painted with hope, with faith, with love. And every time they let you down, you didn't just lose them. You lost a little of that vision, that dream you built in your heart. That's what makes the silence so heavy. It's not just their absence. It's the absence of the story you told yourself about what could have been. But here's the truth you need to hold on to. That story wasn't wrong. It was just meant for someone else. Someone who can match your depth, your loyalty, your fire. The pain you feel now is the cost of learning that not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone can handle the weight of your heart, and that's okay. It doesn't make you less. It makes you rare. So what do you do with that pain, Bane? You don't bury it. You wield it. You take every tear, every sleepless night, every moment you questioned your worth, and you turn it into fuel. You don't let it drown you. You let it forge you. Because pain, when channeled, becomes power. It becomes the kind of strength that doesn't need validation, the kind of focus that doesn't waver, the kind of fire that burns through every obstacle. You're not just walking away from them, you're walking toward yourself, toward the version of you that doesn't need their approval, their presence, their half-hearted promises. And that journey, it's not about reaching a destination. It's about becoming someone who doesn't flinch when the world tries to break them again. Someone who knows their worth isn't tied to who stays or who leaves. Someone who builds a life so solid, so unshakable, that no one can ever dim their light again. And when you get there, Bane, when you've built that life, that peace, that power, they'll see it. Not because you showed it off, but because your absence will scream louder than any words you could have said. They'll see it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you no longer chase, in the way you no longer explain. They'll feel it in the quiet moments when they realize no one else can fill the space you left, not because you were loud, but because you were real. And real is rare, real is unforgettable, real is what haunts them when they're left with nothing but their own emptiness. So keep going, keep building, keep burning, not for them, not for revenge, but for you. Because the greatest victory isn't making them regret. It's becoming someone they'll never be able to forget. Someone whose silence echoes louder than their noise ever could. Your journey, Bane, it's only just begun. And it's yours every step, every scar, every spark. Claim it, live it, let it burn.